Welcome back to the channel. Today we're looking at the brand new Divo Knives Premium Pony Stout. These are an exclusive to White Mountain Knives, dropping on 3/22/24 at noon Eastern Time. You can use code STASA23 for 10% off at checkout. These come in two different variations. One is a bead blasted stone washed titanium handle and a stone washed blade. And the one that I have for you, the black washed titanium with a stone washed blade. They both look really, really nice. I absolutely loved the Pony Stout. I picked up the budget version whenever they first dropped, and I liked it so much that I picked up the black wash version as well. Just an awesome little utility cutter right here. Very useful and very slicey. Now this is a smaller knife coming in at 6.67 inches long with a 2.85 inch sheep's foot blade of CPM S90V steel. Excellent choice for such a small blade. It's going to hold that edge for a nice amount of time. This is going to be an excellent utility cutter. Great for fine, precise cutting. Great for drag cuts, in-hand cuts. You're going to get full power from heel to tip because it's almost a straight edge there. Plus, because of this little section right here, you can choke up right up to that edge so you can have really good control over that edge. You do have some functional jimping up top if you're choked back right here. And then you have a nice little scoop in the middle of the spine right there that is nice and comfortable to rest your thumb. If you need to press down onto something, give you a little bit more pressure. You do have some nice crowning on the spine up here, just a nice added touch. And it has a beautiful raw stone wash finish that's going to hide wear really well. You do have a sharpening choil, but the way it's done, I sharpened this up after the testing, and as you can see, I started to ride up here on that plunge grind. You know, some of it could have been me, and I don't find it that big of a deal because this has an internal stop pin, so I can easily extend that if I would like to. So at least this way you're getting full amount of edge until you need to open that up some. This blade has a nice deep hollow grind that comes down to around 15 thousandths behind the edge. That paired with mine having a 15 degrees per side edge bevel. This knife should be an outstanding slicer. Let's find out. I must say the out-of-box sharpness on this one was very, very nice, very crisp edge. And I decided to choke up so I could be close up to that edge, get me a lot of extra control. And for such a small blade, you're able to get a nice, especially if you're doing push cutting, it's doing really well because it's almost a straight edge. So you're getting a lot of power from heel to tip of this knife. That hollow grind is really, really performing nicely. And we take it over to the wood to test the ergos, see how the edge is biting, and just look at those fine curls. This thing's making very, very effortless. And once again, I'm in that choke up spot. It's kind of the sweet spot for this knife for me. And especially if you have large, extra large hands, that's probably where you're going to stay. But I start slowly increasing the pressure. And I gotta say, for such a small knife, I'm able to get a lot of force into this wood. It's hogging off chunks. That handle's nice and contoured and comfortable, no hot spots to speak of. And yeah, they did a really, really good job with here. Now we move on to the 1/2 inch sisal rope, and this is where I can really tell that the edge is nice and sharp. It has a nice bite to it. It's just really getting into the wood very easily, doing mainly push cuts. I ended up bringing it up on the block just because it didn't have a whole lot of belly to it, and it just makes my job a lot easier. Keeps the blisters away, and I'm not having to put too much force into it. That's always a good thing. And I think I even transitioned to the pointer finger grip. That just shows that it's that sharp, because if it's not sharp, you're not gonna see me doing this at all. But saves me from getting a blister on that index finger, and it's nice and comfortable right here because you have that little scoop into the blade. I'm able to get a lot of force. I think it might have even benefited from having a little bit of jimping right there, just to kind of give you a little bit extra traction. But the gloves I have on have some traction on them, so I'm not really worried about that here. We end up getting through 120 cuts before I run out of rope, and I literally ran out of rope this time. After this video, I will be ordering 10 more bundles of 1/2-inch sisal rope. Yay me! But yeah, very happy so far. And at the last cut, it still felt nice and crisp. We will definitely see as soon as we move on to the next, but definitely a-okay so far, especially for such a small little blade. This is where it's really going to shine, doing drag cuts like that. You can really get some detail work. It's decently thin up there because of that hollow grind. And as you can see here, I'm not having to raise it up on the block for any of this stuff because there's enough belly to still do this. You just got to, be mindful of where that edge is going. And we moved to the 10-ounce denim. It's blasting through it. Still has excellent bite to it. Always awesome to see. Whoever did this one, I think it's Kubi, they did an outstanding job. Now let's check that edge after all that cutting with such a small blade. Yeah, it might have a minor hang up. I'd call that good. Yeah, maybe nothing that I feel, but not bad. Now let's take a look at the deployment and the action of this knife. It is a blade hole deployer, outstanding reverse flicker. It's got a well-tuned detent. You can thumb flick it. You can slow roll it. You can spotty drop it. Very, very smooth. It's riding on bearings. Some light shakes. It goes to its home. Like I said, nice crisp break on it, and that blade hole is comfortable, easy to access, no matter which hand you're using. Take a look at the scales. You got nice contoured titanium scales. Like I said, mine are black washed. You have some nice milling right here for some aesthetics. Flush pivot and hardware. Tie hardware throughout. Torx T8 throughout. Excellent job. Reversible deep carry wire pocket clip, and it sits pretty darn deep in the pocket. It rides nicely. It's got enough ramp, and being that it's smooth titanium, I'm glad there's a good bit of tension there, so it goes in and out of the pocket nicely, and it carries really, really nicely as well. Your blade steel marking is on the backspacer right there. You got a little small titanium backspacer. We have an inset stainless steel locking liner, nothing on the show side scale, and I'm not sure if you can see that in there, but it says Divo Knives on the stainless steel liner. There you go. Being that you have the titanium scale with the liner, it's going to add a little bit extra weight, but for such a small knife, nothing that really bothered me any. Bringing the weight on this one to 3.52 ounces. Yeah, like I said, not bad at all. The lockup on my knife, I'd say, is sitting at around 50, maybe even 60%. Access to the lock bar is outstanding because this comes down lower. You have a little bit of texture on that lock bar. Very easy to get my thumb in there. Nice positive engagement. No play. I mean, this is very, very solidly locked up. Very nicely done. Quick size comparison with the Ontario Rat 1 and 2. Next up, we have the Civivi Elementum and the QSP Penguin. It's just a hair shorter than both the Civivi Mini Praxis and the Benchmade Mini Grip. And almost identical to the size of the QSP Canary Folder, and just a hair longer than the Kaiser Feist. And it's a little bit longer than both the Vosti Mini Nightshade and the Kaiser Mini Sheepdog. Now for my nitpicks and complaints, I would have liked to see this opened up a little bit, but like I said, at least you're getting full edge, and I can open that up if I'd like to. If weight's a big deal, this one is a little bit extra weighty because of the tie scales, but I kind of like that with a smaller knife. It gives me a little bit more substantial feeling in hand. But overall, I think it's an outstanding knife. I think they did an outstanding job. Divo has been absolutely crushing it. I love the original one, and I even like this one even more. The edge is going to last longer. This one's even smoother out of box than my 14C Pony Stout. And if you're wanting one of these, I would definitely be ready because I'm sure they're probably going to sell out rather quickly. That's just the nature of the beast. And especially with a cool design like this one and some awesome people behind it, what's there not to love? So if you're interested in one of these, I will have all the necessary links down in the description. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave those down below. I hope everybody's having an absolute amazing day. I will see y'all on the next one. Peace out.